All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ciarra, and I am an artist here on the internet doing artsy things. So, we are continuing on with this little journey through my sketchbooks through the years, kind of starting with my youngest ones and ending with my more recent ones, so that you guys can see kind of the whole journey of my art development through sketchbooks in particular. And this one I'm probably going to be titling a little bit different from the previous ones because I'm going to be talking about one of the best practices that when I was going through university in my art program, and it was a very tiny art program, like there was, I think, 11 or 12 of us as the graduating seniors. So that's just how tiny the art department here at the school that I went to was, but it was very solid and very much based in, the traditional art, classical art principles, which was a benefit to me in the long run. Even though I'm sure a lot of you look at my artwork, if you've been following me a while, it looks very illustraty, very sometimes cutesy, what have you. But I do have a training and a background in more classical practices, oil paint, printmaking, all that good stuff. So I'll be titling this video to some degree of essentially like how to grow as an artist this summer, because these are the sketchbooks that I did starting in the summer of 2017. So we are kind of jumping back just slightly in this sort of video series, because I think the last video I did was very much fall 2017. So we are jumping back just a tiny bit because I forgot the order that I had these put in. But anyway, so that summer, moving into 2017, ending the spring semester, we're stepping into becoming seniors here in our little art program. And our professors presented us with a challenge for the summer. We had to fill sketchbooks. Really, the main goal was that every single day in summer, we had to do 2 drawings a day. And the time limit that we were given for for both of these 2 drawings in total was 30 to 45 minutes. So you had to do 2 drawings. It had to fit into that time frame, so you could break it up however you want, where you spent maybe 15 minutes on one thing, 20 minutes on the other thing, the other drawing. So you could break it up how you would. But the other stipulation, other than the time portion of it, 2 drawings, total time 30 to 45 minutes, and 1 drawing had to be from life. No end stop, period. Had to be a drawing from life. You had to be looking at something, you had to be referencing something in your physical space, and that was your drawing from life. The second drawing, though, could be essentially anything you wanted. It could be a master study, it could be from imagination, from your memory, it could be it could be another kind of study of some other sort. So those were the stipulations of this summer sketchbook challenge that our professors gave us. And so when we came back into the semester during the fall, we did continue this project pretty much coming into the next summer of next year. Somewhat. I'm trying to remember. Actually, we might have not needed to do it, but they recommended us to continue to do it. Regardless, we came in from from the summer, and that fall of 2017, we were presenting these sketchbooks and what we drew. And so some of those sketches did get pulled out of these sketchbooks, and they're somewhere else in my hoard of things, but we're just going to focus on what's still bound in the sketchbook. So they actually gave us this first sketchbook, as our first sketchbook to start for this summer project. So that is what this one is. Honestly, it is a Canson, but I'm not sure exactly which line of Canson sketchbook this is. It was very nice. It is kind of like mixed media. So, and then obviously my other summer sketchbook that I did here was another Canson mixed media one. And then the last one, I grabbed a Strathmore mixed media, which I'll have words to say about that one when we get to it. But in entirety, I did 3 sketchbooks for this 2017 summer, basically starting in April and ending right at the beginning of August. So that is the time frame we're looking at with these 3 sketchbooks. So basically 3 sketchbooks in 3-ish months. So it is definitely, I'm sure some of you are hearing that and thinking that this sounds pretty daunting of a challenge, but once you get into the flow of it, and I think once you see the kind of sketches I was doing, it might help you guys to not be so scared of this challenge. But it is one that I do agree, and I highly encourage you, anybody who is really wanting to become more prolific in their art skills, and especially in like a short frame of time, like 3 months, 4 months, this is a great practice. And through this, I definitely saw huge growth in my skills going through this little challenge that, again, my professors gave us as senior, like like transitioning into senior time. So without further ado, let's get into this. So here we have, again, summer sketchbook 2017, and I did continue to like mark what each one was for each day. So again, this started on April 29th of 2017, and this was my first little sketch in here, which, looking at it now, it's pretty, for the technique I was trying to do, it's not great. I can definitely do a lot better now. But yes, this was other. So I just did something from imagination, essentially, and wanted to play around with trying to do like a watercolory galaxy sky. I might have even been following like a tutorial with that. I'm not sure, but we're going to continue on. So I am going to be moving around this sketchbook because, of course, I drew in weird ways. But this was from 5/12/2017. This was our drawing from life, and I actually did. Apparently, I did some of these drawings out of order. So this was a life drawing. I want to say that was a portrait of my brother that I was trying to do. And then we have another drawing from life. This was just literally, I think this was either a table at my parents' house or their countertop, just some pathos plants. I think that was my phone, part of my sketchbook, and I just did a still life of literally what was sitting in front of me. So that is like the point of this challenge. Just draw something. Again, set a timer for yourself. If you want to spend, I'm assuming this was maybe 20 minutes. Maybe I spent on that one. I wish I had included like how long I spent on each one. All right. We have, clearly I went back onto other pages and was like working on these more, but these were little life studies of probably people who were sitting around me in classes and whatnot. This was another one. This was on my campus. This is another life study. Just some quick little watercolors, quick sketch. This was right in front of, in between my art studio, or the art building, I should say, and the library on my campus. And every year, like these bushes, they would change what was here. We have more little sketches from life. And then for the other, we have just a little doodly mermaid. This is another drawing from life. This is my dog, Mickey, who was sitting where he loves to sit, which is on the top of the couch, staring out the windows. Another one from life of this little dragon statue thing. It's like metal with like some little crystals and stuff in it. This has featured more than once in artwork from this time frame that was related to like my schooling. And then we have two sketches that are the other, that are secondary. So we have a little koi fish with little sparkles in there. And some weird attempts at foxes that don't look very good. This is another one from life. I no longer have this succulent. This succulent. I had this up until just recently. This succulent was my enemy. It was my frenemy. This one gave me so many troubles, but this is when it was just a little baby. But it is no more. It has been sacrificed to the outside world because it was on its last legs anyway. These were like working out some random ideas. I don't even exactly remember what was going on with these. But yeah, maybe ideals I'll explore at another point in time. Some blank pages, I don't know why. I'm assuming it feels like I had something stuck down in here and I probably pulled them out for some reason. Probably for something I was displaying in class afterwards. More life drawings. These are Mickey. They're upside down. I'm not going to turn them around. We have another one with a life drawing, quick one. This is my parents' screened-in porch, and some other family members were here for this day when they were sitting out there, and I apparently doodled it. More Mickey, because again, part of this challenge is, again, you have to do this drawing from life every day. And it's like, well, what am I going to draw? So you'll see me repeatedly draw some very similar things. A lot of time my dog, and even at this point in time, we're like 2 months in the future of starting this, and I feel like these are much better than some of those earlier ones. That is a good strength of this challenge, is it forces you to most likely repeatedly draw the same thing over and over again, especially for the life portion, and you will see yourself grow from doing that. So my dog, for one. Hands will be another one you'll see me doing. We have another one from just imagination, the little galaxy mermaid alien thing. She's kind of cute. We have 2 from life. This was literally some like little rice cracker snacks that I got from Trader Joe's. I had them, I was eating them. Another succulent. Definitely don't have this succulent anymore. Some more from life. Obviously, we're just going out on the boat, chilling on sandbars and stuff. So these were some quick little studies of that. And then we have another one from imagination. I think this was this is all the same day. So you obviously you could do more than, actually they're not from the same day. That's from the 27th. I totally drew in this thing out of order. That is crazy. But yeah, we have mermaid sketch that I just never finished. This was obviously during Mermay, so that's why I was drawing a lot of mermaids. More random other sketches, don't even know. This is another one from life, and this is just like a little color study. This is definitely my parents' like breakfast nook table. More of my succulents, which I don't have either one of these succulents anymore. And here we go. As I said, what am I going to end up drawing a lot from life? It's going to be my hand. Just put on that timer and just draw a bunch of hands. This was not too bad. I don't know what's going on with that one. And then I got more from life. This is definitely my brother, or attempting to draw my brother. More hands. And some other of these just really weird doodles. Dear God, why is what this squirrel is saying. I can't read what this owl's saying, or this one. Please tell me more is what the frog is saying. Nuts. I can't even read that. Something about maybe feelings. I hate mirrors with the ostrich. I was using a little ink brush pen, this one in particular. It might be Pentel brand. I don't really remember at this point. I really like this one. I feel like this one was kind of a challenge of some sort, where it was like you were drawing like chess pieces and like humanizing them, whatever the term is. And I did a pawn, and I think she came out really cool. But then we have some more horrible little doodles from life. Attempting at a chair. My brother's guitar at the time. A little lantern. We have another one from life. I think that was my bedroom window. Possibly. Yeah. And then there's definitely something that was glued down here that got pulled out. I'm not sure what at this point. And then we have 2 from imagination. Never finished this one, although I still kind of like the composition and the idea about it, but I would need to redraw it now. We have a drawing of Ariel, which I remember when I originally posted this on Instagram. Of course, it got a lot of attention because it's Disney, so that is to be expected, right? This was me working on an idea that originally for an OC for like this kind of like darker magical girl storyline. Just never took it anywhere else. Drawing from life. Weird little thing trying to draw my window with like some more charcoaly stuff. This is one of my OCs, Astra. And I've wanted to draw this particular... This is the first idea I ever had of her specifically. And I've always wanted to draw this idea, but I've never really returned to it because at the time I just could not draw this full body pose that I had in mind. I kept saying like, yuck, not right, fixed gesture, and just never got back around to it. I even took like some reference photos of myself, but I never finished this. Another random like mermaid idea. We have 2 drawings from life. Again, another one of my bedroom, bookcase, closet door, all that stuff. This one, parents' living room. And this one, God, I don't even know where that is. It's got to be a classroom of some sort, maybe. It's not my work. I wasn't working where I was working now, but it kind of reminds me of it. Anyway, this was definitely another day when we were out on the boat for the summer, and I did this. We were obviously moving into June, so Junicorn challenge. Junicorn. I'm a beautiful unicorn with a little bit of some glitter on there, I think. Maybe not. Maybe that one doesn't have it. But then this was the life drawing from that day, from across the water, trying to draw this house that was, situated there. Another one for other, just kind of a misty looking mountain scene. And then some of my little trinkets, which I still have these little trinkets literally on my desk. There's the Miku, and of course, the little dusty toothless here. Two more others trying to do, I guess, an attempt of like some fashion clothes drawings, and they're not the greatest. Then we have a life drawing of my hand holding this giant screw that like came in some of my art supplies. And for the other, we have a Loki drawing, because why not? For this one, we have a rubber chicken. This was from Life Drawing. This is that funny rubber chicken toy that you can give to your dogs. And so we had one of those, obviously, for Mickey. Another one, Life Drawing. This was my dad sitting in his chair, trying to draw it. And then these are just some other random ones. Again, more kind of Junicorn ideas, like that one. And like a little mermaid related one. Just some weird ideas. And a elf looking kind of girl with a mask. Other drawing, again, this was working on an idea for a group of characters for a story that never got really any further than this. And then this one is the undersketch for a piece called Moon, which I'll try to find an image of that, because this did become a finished piece, so I'll put that inserted somewhere over here. But yeah, that's where this sketch came from. This was born from, if you watch one of my previous videos, I did like these little teeny tiny doodles in a much older, like 2016 sketch, and so I wanted to do like more finished illustrations of those two little characters, and I did the moon, but then I never did the sun. And then almost a pseudo self-portrait, like Sona character idea, but then it's kind of not. But yeah, I was so mad doing this particular drawing because I was actually recording it, and it used to be on Instagram. But I was watercoloring it. I really liked it. It was going well. And then my hand accidentally dipped into this when it was still wet and smeared the red, which is like the worst color possible to get smeared. And yeah, I was pretty upset about that. For our other drawing, we have some random sort of chibi-like birds. I still really like this one. And then this was a sketch that was actually, I finished this sketch, I think, or or like I added to it for my Mytho March challenge. This is Hades and Persephone. Then we have some other random things. Bad figure drawing and a little liney mermaid. And lastly, we have this little doodle that I stuck in here of a skull. This is how I drew skulls back in 2017. If you guys are familiar with my art and have been following a while, especially on like other platforms, you know I draw a lot of skeletons sometimes, and I can definitely draw them a lot better now. So that's that first sketchbook. So now we move into the continuation. So that one ended around, I think, June of something. And so this one started up June 15th of 2017. And so I'm always a big fan of Canson Mixed Media sketchbooks. If you've been watching these particular sketchbook tour videos through the times, I've used a lot of these, especially like the smaller size one. But I think that was also another part of the challenge with this summer sketchbook. They wanted us to keep using around this size of sketchbook to like kind of get us to draw bigger. So like a 9x12 sketchbook. So that's why I had to keep kind of buying these larger ones, which is not something I was really good at doing, is drawing in bigger sketchbooks. I always usually gravitate to the smaller ones, but it is a good thing to do. If like you're struggling or you feel like you're kind of stuck in a rut with your art, where it's like you're stuck in your comfort zone essentially. This is a great way to switch it up. Is if you're somebody who always draws very big, try getting a small sketchbook and try using that and filling it up, or vice versa. We have a self-portrait for the first one of this sketchbook. I'm using all these blue colors. And then for our other, we have just kind of like this little fairy ring, mossy situation going on here. Again, kind of a cool idea. Random objects. Dog bed. Xbox controller. Pens. Hand. There you go. Life drawing. Fill up that time. More life drawing. Hand. Couch. Books. Life drawing. We were at a winery and we were having wine slushies. Sketchbook. More wine slushy. From life. Sketchbook. More life drawing. Clearly, I think I was doing a lot of the other sketchbooks, maybe in a different one. No, they got to be in here somewhere. So yeah. Candlestick things. This was other, so this was just like trying to do a like kind of figure drawing on my own without looking at a figure. Medusa little doodle, another random little doodle. We have the last unicorn, and I need a sip of tea, so hang on. We got the last unicorn. I meant to color this, never happened. Also love this movie. It's very weird. More drawings from life, and see, we're starting to get a little bit better. Kind of. But this was my desk. In fact, the very same desk that I'm recording this on. Pair of sunglasses, pens, watercolor palette, which was exactly this one. Because this was like at the time the only watercolor palette I had. So it is crusty, but I still have it. And that was a metallic set of ones because I got shiny stuff. Eraser, pens. You get the drift. My foot with a shoe on. It's not bad. I don't hate it. More hands because I could not draw hands. This is just our other one. Just an attempt to do like a little succulent design here. Not really much to say about that. Horrible. I mean, you could tell it's bananas. But yeah, this was the life drawing for July 1st, 2017. Bananas sitting on my parents' counter. And then this was the other, and this was actually one that I later on attempted to make into that, if you watch my previous video, like that 3-color, tricolor relief print or reduction print that we had to do. This was the first thing I was trying to do with that design, and it did not work. But this was the idea I was taking from there. I think this might be around the time frame where I was doing like a werewolf July challenge of some sort. I forget what it was called. These years were years where I did monthly challenges way more. This is funny. So this is the drawing from the life. And from the life, Jesus. But this is actually a plaster carving that I carved for my 3D like foundation course that I had to take. Where is this? Oh, this might be downstairs. I still have this plaster carving. It's somewhere in my house. But it looked kind of like a squeeze of toothpaste. I don't know what I was going for, but it was fun to make. I did enjoy doing that. For other, again, it was some sort of like werewolf challenge or like wolf related thing, although this is clearly a fox. But yeah, we have like a kitsune situation right here with the little gold details. I still really love this one. It was like I love this steampunk outfit. I'm not sure. I think I was referencing a couple different things to like come up with this design, but this didn't come out exactly how I imagined it in my head, but I still like it. I think this is probably one of my favorite ones. It's a ceiling fan. Life. Draw from life. Anything. That's what this challenge made you do. Just draw anything. We got hands. From life. This was the other. There's just like a weird color experiment. What was I thinking? I don't even know how long I could not have spent more than 5 minutes on this. This was my drawing from life on July 5th. Oh, God. I still have this succulent too. And then this was like the beginning of something other related. That was like a little succulent idea. And then this was the other thing that had to do with the werewolf challenge I was doing. And I love it. It's so cute. It's like two girlfriends hanging out. One is totally all about the werewolves. The other is team vampires. I totally ship them. Girl, you know it. Little sushi, popcorn, little candies. We have doggo, question mark, in the back. And little succulents, a little bookcase. And then that was like my favorite detail because I literally looked at one of my favorite werewolf movies is, of course, American Werewolf in London. And which is such a classic. If you haven't watched that, you need to go watch that. Such a good one. But yeah, I was actually looking at the poster for the movie and I was trying to copy and put it there as like a little Easter egg. And then we have some life drawing, some like figure drawing studies. More life drawing. Which actually, I want to say I took this particular sketch and I used it and I extended it out and made a mermaid from it. Another drawing from life. We were once again out in the mountains, going to wineries and stuff. And this was a field near one of the wineries we were going to where they had the big hay balls sitting around. Back on that werewolf thing challenge. And again, I like the idea that I was going with here, but God, what is that? That is so bad. It's a horrible wolf. It's hilarious. Look at it. I liked how I colored this a lot. I think it was real cute. More of just like going out into the countryside and whatnot. And this is like a fence with a field. Got plenty of those in Virginia. This was another one from life. And I think, what was this plant? It's one of my parents' house plants. Is it like a geranium maybe? That's what I was trying to color here. Then we have, again, on that same challenge, whatever this is, kind of a jackal-looking, Egyptian-esque astrology wheel thing. Kind of a neat idea. Execution-wise, I could probably do something interesting with this idea now. A zinnia. Not a bad one. I like it. From life. Another one from life. This is literally parents' living room with the dog bed. And a little stuffed squirrel that I think Mickey was playing with at the time. We got more fan art. This is Akko from Little Witch Academia? Is that what it was called? Oh God, I was obsessed. This was like around the time that the first movie came out. Before they did like the show. I think they did a second movie. Am I right? Or is there like 3 movies? Something like that. Love this. I wish they would make more. Because it was so cute, so my vibe. I loved this. I meant to color the whole thing, but all I did was like the little sparkles. but so cute. Another one from life. I know exactly which winery this is because I've drawn this one more than once. But yes, I know exactly where this is. Actually, no, I lie. I'm wrong. It's not that same winery. It's a different one. I'm a liar. I swear this is... No, I might be right. Maybe that is the same one. I don't know. Whatever. It was some winery out in the country. Then this is another one. You kind of see me. I was definitely referencing like a Pinterest photo for the face to help me out. We have more landscape from some winery out in the mountains of Virginia. Which one? Couldn't tell you. I think this is on that same one. They had a cool, like, older farm truck. Kind of neat. And then for our other, we have a very sad attempt at drawing a fox again. When am I going to be able to draw foxes? I was looking at recently an artwork that I did that I'm very proud of. I like, and it was from maybe like 2-3 years ago right now. And I drew a fox in it, and it still doesn't look good. Oh, God. You're just going to see me here in the future just like manically trying to draw foxes and actually make them look like proper foxes. But we have another hand. Again, not a bad hand. We have a foot. Also, I don't feel like this is a bad foot. And then, so I think that these are actually not related to the time that we have on here. I want to say that these are much later on here in the future. I did come back into the sketchbook and I was working on it from like in the future because I was trying to work on a commission and these were like colored thumbnail studies for it. And I just kind of stuck it in there. But this is from 2017 and this is a horrible self-portrait. My hair was much shorter back then. But yeah, this is horrible. Where is the eye? What is these proportions? Whatever. I say it's bad, but it's not that bad, okay? I'm just being hard on myself. But then we have some other studies from life. I was trying to draw the bee that was flying around the zinnias. Other random doodly idea. I don't know. I was just playing around, I think, with the colors. Then we have... What do we have? We got more hands. Ugly. Ugh. Dot. Ew. Ugh. That's my commentary. I still kind of do this sometimes when I'm working. I'm not somebody who necessarily... I know other people when they're in their sketchbooks, they'll like cover up something that they messed up. They don't like. I don't tend to do that. I usually put a little commentary saying like, ugh. And I just leave it. More trying to draw from life. Some figures. I think... Probably drawing my brother. We have another hand. Let's see if I can get my... Yeah, that's essentially what I was doing. And that is actually the last one. So I finished this sketchbook 7/23 of 2017. So now we are moving into our last sketchbook of the summer before I got back into school. And this is the Strathmore one. I hated this sketchbook. I had never used a Strathmore sketchbook up until this point. And this particular one, I hated it. And you know why? Because with Canson sketchbooks, especially the mixed media ones, there is a texture. You know, the paper has a little bit of a texture, a tooth onto it. And I was silly, and I got this one, and I didn't really pay attention that it was vellum surface, which if you don't know what that means, it means the surface is smooth as butter. It's smooth, doesn't really have a texture. It's great for Copic markers or like alcohol markers in general. This is great. As a watercolor person, not really great. With watercolor, it's usually a little bit better to have something with like some tooth. At least for me, at this time it was. So here we are, we're picking back up on 7/23 of 2017 with other, just some sort of random, this was definitely me looking at something on Pinterest and trying to draw like the environment. And then this was just, I think I was also looking, I saw a crown, this metal thing, and I liked it and I was trying to draw it onto a character. We have more some like figure life drawing stuff. this is actually the thing from life that I drew, which is these little Fairytopia, Little Mermaid fairy dolls. I actually was looking at these up not too long ago. Yeah, on the internet, because I love these so much. We got a foot. Don't like this foot. We have other. This was actually kind of a more of memory and invention, and like I had this idea of how to paint this. It was kind of a homage to, or at least the idea was it was going to be a homage to one of the places I grew up, which was, you know, Marin County, Novato area, but right near there is San Francisco, and so this was the, you know, the Bay Bridge, San Francisco Bridge, whatever. We have another random other drawing, trying to do something floral with a face. More of me sitting on the couch and drawing my hand and the, you know, what was around me. Water bottle. Sketchbook. This is better than the previous one that I have this almost the same exact composition in one of the earlier ones I just showed you. This is better, or at least it feels better to me. More of parents' living room, window, hands, and then this was definitely, I was looking at some dude on Pinterest trying to draw it. It's not horrible. This is the first time I drew another one of my original characters. This is Nada. She is a very special character to me, but yeah, she has a whole story and kind of like some other random OCs that I've drawn over the years. They kind of like, I have this pattern where like kind of random things that I've drawn over the years, they end up coming together to come into, you know, this one particular storyline. And so I drew her, and then all these other ones kind of came together to be in her world, sort of thing. Then we have a barn owl. Not bad. Whatever that is. And then life drawing once again my brother, who was reading a book. It's not great. We have a random attempt to draw a witch. We then have a hand, because we drew a lot of hands, but I got a lot better at drawing hands through this process. Attempting to draw a mermaid. These mermaids are my comfort zone. This was real quick drawing outside of Whole Foods. I definitely remember that. And then this was me working on an idea. I had this idea, and I still have this idea, to do like this kind of triptych relief print, lino print situation. And so this was kind of me trying to work out an idea, but it still hasn't seen the light of day, but it might someday once I figure it out. But I still am stuck on that idea. I need to do this weird triptych lino print idea. More random doodles from life. We're working on making dinner. Obviously something, maybe boiling water for pasta, making a soup. I don't know. This is an interesting one. And honestly, when I was like looking back in the sketchbook, I was kind of surprised that this was in here, because I didn't think that this happened in this same time frame, if that makes sense. So this tells me that I was still active in 2017 on places like Wattpad and like fanfiction.net, because I used to write fanfiction. And probably more so around like 2017, 2016, I was trying to write original stories on Wattpad. But this has nothing, this particular sketch has nothing to do with any of my stories. I actually got a little author on Wattpad. She reached out to me asking me to, hey, could you help me draw this idea for like the cover of my story? This is funny. This is so weird. I'm talking about this because obviously I have been working on book covers recently. Shameless plug time. I did this book cover for the Hunting the Empress, Sovereign of the Stars book, the first one. The second book will be coming out soon. I've been working on that book cover. Please, please, please go check out this book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, wherever you shop, because you can probably request this book now on those platforms. So definitely helps me out if you go and you check it out. But yeah. So this was my very first attempt at that. So I drew this, and even though it was supposed to be, I think, her main character in her story, she didn't end up using the figure, but she did end up using the wings and she kind of like collaged it, and took the wings and put that on the back of her character on the cover for Wattpad, so her Wattpad story. So that's kind of crazy. Again, I didn't realize that this was happening in that same time frame, because that Wattpad era of mine feels so much older than this, but clearly I'm wrong. Anyway, moving on. This may not look like a lot, because it doesn't. This is supposed to be like folds of like my comforter on my bed, like the way that it's like scrunched up, and just kind of try to like learn how that fabric was like sitting and moving, you know? I think that's a really interesting challenge, is to look at things like clothing and fabric and trying to figure out how it actually drapes and stuff. That is a whole different challenge you could give yourself in itself, is figuring out how to draw those things. We have another one. I think maybe at this time I was taking some requests from people of like, hey, what fan art should I draw next? And somebody was saying Raven from Teen Titans. And so I started this one, and it was going to have this cool like effect in the background. But guess what happened? I never finished it, and I'm probably never going to. Never actually watched Teen Titans, so sorry. But anyway, what are we? We're back on the boat. August 2nd, 2017. We're back on the boat, enjoying boat time. More random doodles for other. We have creepy Cheshire Cat looking thing. Such a bunch of different ideas on one page. This was drawing from life. We were probably still on the boat, obviously, and this was, I think, my mom sitting in a beach chair on the beach, and I was drawing that. And then this is a horrible, horrible portrait of my brother. I think he was actually, I think I was looking at him from like maybe this angle, or maybe it was this angle, and that's part of why it looks so funky. There was clearly, I think, something stuck in here, pulled it out, I don't know. We have some more other random doodles, and I was definitely losing steam at this point in this challenge, where you could see I'm like drawing smaller and kind of just like More drawing from life. This might actually, this is definitely inside my campus. So this is August 6th, 2017. So we're getting close to getting back onto campus, getting back into school, all that. Other random doodle. Trying to do, I think, like a little comic strip of some sort. Still have not figured that out. More random reptilian dragon eye. More cool hair, like headdress stuff. More drawing from life. I'm assuming this was in my school's library. Maybe. I'm honestly not sure. Hatsune Miku, because why not? I used to be so heavily into Voicloid and Hatsune Miku and all of them and stuff, so still was a bit into it at this point. Life drawing, hand. Next. This was a random idea. I think, what was I calling this? Tied Up by Fate, maybe? Because I have like something written right there. But yeah, an idea. I feel like it would be cool to revisit this idea and do something with it, maybe. This was supposed to be a drawing from life, although you really be hard pressed to tell because it just kind of looks like a bunch of squiggles. I think it's supposed to be a window. And then we're getting to the end. I had some ideas. Again, it's so funny because we have some skeleton stuff here. I never actually did any skeleton stuff really at this point in time, but I sure as hell did some in the last few years. And yeah, that is the end. Wow. So that is the Summer Sketchbook Challenge. And as you can tell, it's not amazing. I'm doing too harsh. It's, again, you don't need to view this as something that needs to be perfect. None of these are perfect, in my opinion. None of these sketches were meant to be. It was meant to just fit the criteria of, hey, I need to spend this amount of time and I need to do 2 drawings. Let's just do it. And so I think that's a really helpful, though, process, because I think we can all get kind of caught up, especially if you're only relying on kind of like social media, or maybe you're just teaching yourself to draw. You're not being exposed to maybe like a classroom setting, even like an online like classroom setting, you're not exposing yourself and like essentially getting yourself forced to try something that you wouldn't try on your own. Like, especially, I feel like a lot of people find the drawing from life idea very either off-putting or like that's not my style, or it's just daunting. Like, that's all the more reason to do it, in my opinion. It is such an important practice to draw from life. And if you were to go to a normal, like any kind of like art program, whether that's at your community college or an actual like art school, whatever it is, they're going to force you to draw from life. And there's a reason behind it. It's really, really helpful to do that. I'm still, as you saw with this challenge, I was still drawing imaginative, weird little illustration-y kind of cartoony stuff, but at the same time I was still trying to draw from life. And those two things can inform each other. You saw, or at least I hope you saw, through just this little batch of sketches, if you haven't been looking at my whole like sketchbook tour series here right now, like you can see the development and you can see how one thing can inform the other. So the better that I can learn to draw from life, I can draw a hand, the better I can draw an imaginative hand or like a cartoony hand. Like, they both inform each other and help to feed each other in that process, no matter what style you're doing. So with that said, I hope that you found this interesting. I know I can be a little bit rambly and just, oops, I just totally bumped my camera. But I challenge you this summer, or maybe next summer, or you can make this a fall challenge. Whatever it is, take like 3 to 4 months and give yourself this challenge to do 2 drawings a day, spending a total for both drawings, either 30 to 45 minutes for 2 drawings. One has to be from life, anything from life, as long as it's something you're physically seeing in front of you. And the other can be dealer's choice, something imaginative, something, a reference that you use that you want to draw online, or a master copy, whatever it is. I challenge you to try this challenge. And again, add another layer to it. Draw big, draw small if you're not used to either one. So yeah, that's my little trick to encourage you to up your sketchbook game and your drawing game this summer, because it definitely did it for me. I think this is one of the best projects I ever got, or one of the best projects I ever got during my time in my art program, was this challenge right here, because this just put together everything into such a great practice. But yeah, thank you all so much, and I'll see you in my next tour. Bye-bye.